Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Tariff torpedo. The fallout from President Trump's massive plan triggers massive sell-offs on financial markets, while local experts say stay the course.
And it's here. Today begins a huge warm-up. We'll climb into the mid to upper 80s. I'll show you when we can see the first 90-degree day of the year.
And clearing up confusion. State officials are addressing discrepancies in the number of deaths attributed to Hurricane Helene in western North Carolina.
It is a massive sell-off on Wall Street right on the heels of Trump's sweeping tariffs. The markets have dropped 4% right now, putting it on track for the worst day since September of 2022, down 1,300 points right now as you take a look at this live on the big board at noon. Thanks for being with us here on our Thursday. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey in for Renee Chu. A lot of us are worried about what this might mean for our investments and retirement funds. And WRAL's Laura Leslie joins us live. And Laura, you just spoke with a certified financial planner who basically said, don't panic.
Michelle, that's right. You know, Ben Mitchum has been doing this for 35 years, so he's definitely seen his share of market turbulence. He says don't be too quick to react to it. But he also says he hasn't seen a financial environment exactly like this one because of the uncertainty that comes with the tariffs imposed yesterday by President Donald Trump. Mitchum says downturns like this can be a good opportunity to buy stocks at a lower rate, and that's part of what helps the market stabilize over time. But he says the combination of inflation, global political instability, and tariffs might discourage some people who otherwise might take advantage of the downturn to get stocks at a discount, and that could spell trouble for financial growth in the near future.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of volatility, a lot of uncertainty. A lot of clients I know and talk about, what prices have gone up already. And, I think a lot of people are worried about spending money. So, and that's not good for the economy or the GDP is not, it doesn't help.
Mitchum said the best thing you can do is to look carefully at the way that your portfolio is set up and make sure that it's balanced well between stocks and fixed income assets like bonds and CDs. A financial planner can help you make sure you have the right balance allocation. Mitchum said bad markets do always turn around eventually, but it may take some time to get there. He said right now there's just too much uncertainty to predict exactly when that's going to happen. Laura Leslie, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And we also asked NC State economist Mike Walden for his advice on how to deal with the uncertainty. And he said, we can never predict the market's movements. Hence, I recommend doing nothing. You can be in the stock market, but I would recommend a diversified portfolio of safe bonds and index funds that allow you to spread your money among many investments.
Meantime, countries around the world are threatening countermeasures in light of President Trump's new trade rules. And not only are leaders in China calling for swift retaliation, a summit between President Trump and China's leader, Xi Jinping, is, from Beijing's perspective, unlikely now to happen if the tariffs on China are not removed. Britain is preparing countermeasures against Trump's decisions as well.
Decisions we take in coming days and weeks will be guided only by our national interest. In the interests of our economy, in the interests of businesses around this table, in the interest of putting money in the pockets of working people.
Britain's prime minister right there saying to his country that he would make a deal if it is in the interest of his nation.
All new into the WRAL Live Center. This is an update to a story we first reported during our morning news. It has to do with an incident that happened at a Cary Walmart on Kildare Farm Road. This is video from that Walmart from last night in which a 72-year-old woman reported a man rubbing against her in a sexual way. Well, now Cary police say officers arrested 31-year-old Stefan Ingram and charged him with 1 count of sexual battery. The woman said the inappropriate sexual contact happened while she was in line at the checkout. Now, officers got word that Ingram returned to the store this morning. They hustled over there and eventually took him into custody. We're working to find out if he could face additional charges.
Thank you, Ken. Temperatures heating up, and it's quite muggy outside as well. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is on the WRAL weather patio with a look at why temperatures are well above normal right now. We're in the mid-80s.
We are. Our normal high temperature is 69 degrees. And so we're looking at a very strong flow out of the south. And that's why we're looking at these very warm temperatures. A high of 86 in Raleigh, 85 in Durham, and 89 in Fayetteville. We have yet to hit 90 degrees for the first time this year officially at RDU, but we could see that tomorrow. Again, our normal high is 69. We stay hot not just today, but all the way through Sunday. And then we see a huge change. I hope you're ready for some weather whiplash. If you don't want it to be this hot this early, hey, your day is coming. Monday and Tuesday, temperatures will be in the low to mid 60s, and we'll probably end up with some frost on Wednesday morning. So it's not over yet. It is still April, which means, we can see pretty much anything. Our high temperature for tomorrow is likely to break that record at 90. 88 is the record high. And then Saturday, we'll probably end up tying maybe tying the record. Forecast high of 89 and the record is 90. Now, this, of course, is not the earliest 90-degree day that we've ever seen at RDU. The earliest on record is March 13th, and that happened back in 2009. So this is certainly not, like I said, the first time we've seen a high temperature at 90 this early, but it would still break the record for tomorrow. Coming up, we're going to talk more about our next big weather maker, which could bring a lot of rain to our area Sunday night and Monday.
State officials are addressing confusion over the number of deaths attributed to Hurricane Helene in western North Carolina. There are now 107 Helene-related deaths in our state, and NCDHHS followed CDC guidance for death certifications following natural disaster, which includes language about indirectly related disaster deaths, including displacement. Traditionally, officials track deaths based on the victim's residence, but several people were recovered in other locations due to that flash flooding.
To be consistent throughout the response, we chose to count decedents by county in the county in which they were recovered or passed.
Nearly half of the storm-related fatalities occurred in Buncombe County, but Helene-related fatalities included one in Wake County, hours away from the mountains. A 90-year-old Buncombe County woman was displaced due to the storm and fell in temporary housing and died October 12th.
On Saturday, potters from western North Carolina will converge at Raleigh Ironworks for a one-day market benefiting residents impacted by Hurricane Helene. 80% of Asheville's River Arts District was destroyed by Helene. The area included 26 warehouses and 300 artists. You can help them bounce back from this tragedy. The Western North Carolina Hurricane Relief Potters Market takes place Saturday from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. It's happening at Raleigh Ironworks, and the event is free. All proceeds go directly to Western North Carolina artists.
An Apex project more than a decade in the making. It's a new development called Viridia. It was announced back in 2009 in Apex, and now 16 years later, updates are still coming for the $3 billion project. WRAL's Sean Gallagher is there. And Sean, what's the latest update on this?
Yeah, Jeff, we're standing at the entrance for the construction entrance here at the Viridia project. You can see here behind me, not a lot has changed in 16 years, just a gravel road, a lot of trees. But this is a massive project, one that could put a massive strain on the existing infrastructure here in Apex. So the company announcing an investment of $166 million to make sure this project doesn't tank the quality of life so many have come to know and love here in Apex. Now, this is an 1,100-acre site that they hope is the home to shops, restaurants, hotels, apartments, and office spaces. Up to 8,000 single-family townhomes and multifamily units are slated to be here as well. Obviously, growth is great, but all of those people could bring extra stress on the existing infrastructure. It's why the developer is holding this ceremony today for a new water treatment plant. So now, 16 years later, and the fourth mayor to have eyes on this project, one thing remains the same: optimism about what Viridia can bring to the area.
They came in, they did their research, they came in and understood exactly what we were looking for and aligned everything, their entire plan, with our strategic goals, which is something that we look for when we talk about development. So you'll see residential, you'll see commercial, all those things needed for the town of Apex, and something to get excited about, opportunities for the entire community.
So construction is underway on the site, but there's really no end date as of this point. The earliest date that people could start moving into the first apartments that come here would be 2027 at the soonest. In Apex, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, I want to take you to a brand new video into our newsroom, drone video of that widespread severe weather that hit the Midwest last night. This is drone video out of Lake City. This is north of Memphis, right near the Arkansas border. The National Weather Service calling the tornado that hit this area absolutely catastrophic. Homes and buildings were flattened, rubble sprinkled for miles, trucks, heavy equipment just scattered about that community. Powerful storms were reported Wednesday night in parts of the South and the Midwest, and you can see the after effects of this drone video. The storms are blamed for several deaths, and hundreds of thousands of customers are without power this noon hour. We'll keep looking for more video coming out of the Midwest as a result of that severe weather last night.
So devastating to see that. Thanks, Ken. We are working to learn more information about two crashes this morning. Sky 5 flew over this crash on Mall Weathers Road and Lord Britton Place during our morning news. We spotted Garner firefighters at the scene of a crash involving an overturned vehicle. No word on what caused the crash or if there were any injuries. And we're learning more about this single car crash that tied up traffic in Knightdale this morning. Sky 5 flew over the scene along South Smithfield Road. Police say the driver lost control, went off the road, hit a ditch and overturned. The fence outside a home was damaged, but no one was hurt. Police are still investigating what caused that crash.
Today, the Justice Department will try to make the case for why they believe the Trump administration did not violate a federal judge's order regarding deportation flights. Last month, Judge James Boasberg ordered the administration to stop using the 1798 Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelans. From the bench, he said any planes carrying migrants deported under the authority must immediately return to the U.S. But two flights with more than 100 migrants continue to El Salvador that same day. The Trump administration says the judge's oral command was not binding. Just a day after a judge dismissed his federal corruption case, New York City Mayor Eric Adams says he will run for a second term, but this time as an independent. Adams was a Republican before he became a Democrat, and in a video released this morning, Adams says he'll skip the Democratic primary in New York in June. Several Democrats are seeking the Democratic nomination. Former Governor Andrew Cuomo currently leads most polls.
Next at noon, gun gone. A man bought a gun online, but it never showed up in the mail. The potential danger on the street as nobody knows where it is.
Also, pharmacy fighting back the argument from CVS to have an opioid lawsuit dropped.
Plus, Dreamville curtain call, the last pieces being put in place for the music festival's 5-year finale.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
Take this live look right now as we bring you back this noon. Lake Gaston, as you watch WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. Yes, it's cloudy, but temps in the 80s. Feels good to be near the water at any point when it's that warm.
So nice. Well, a gun enthusiast is sounding the alarm after the firearm he purchased online failed to arrive in the mail. A Louisiana man bought it from a licensed firearm dealer in Illinois. The .44 Magnum and .50 Action Express Desert Eagle package. It was shipped last month by the U.S. Postal Service, and it was supposed to arrive at a federal firearms license location. Online, the data provided by the USPS shows it in transit on March 20th, but it never arrived, so the customer filed a missing mail search request the next day.
Until it passes through the FFL, we have an unregistered firearm floating around that could potentially be in the hands of someone that's not going to do anything good with it.
The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives has been notified about the missing weapon.
Today, the Duke Blue Devils are in San Antonio getting ready for the Final Four. This is video of their bus pulling into their hotel last night. In just a couple hours, we will hear from Coach John Shire. He'll address the media at his NCAA news conference, 2:55 p.m. The team shared photos right here on social media last night showing players practicing at the San Antonio Spurs NBA training facility. Earlier in the day, supporters gathered outside Cameron Indoor Stadium to give the team a proper send-off. The Blue Devils host Houston Saturday night. 8:49 is tip-off, and the winner will go on to play in the national championship game. That'll be on Monday night with the other half of the bracket to be determined, of course. We want to see how you are supporting the Blue Devils, whether you are cheering from Durham or Raleigh or hitting the road to San Antonio or anywhere in between. Send us your selfies, videos, pictures to WRAL.com/reported, and we'll do our best to share them on TV and online.
We are now getting a look at some of the damage left behind after violent weather hammered parts of the Midwest and the South. Take a look at this. Tornadoes and other severe storms have been blamed for deaths in Tennessee and Missouri, and forecasters warn that flooding is now possible in some parts of the country. Here's NBC's Kathy Park.
Overnight, severe storms slamming the South and Midwest, spawning terrifying tornadoes.
They took direct tornado hit tonight.
Parts of northeast Arkansas completely decimated. This massive twister caught on camera near Lake City after the National Weather Service issued its highest possible warning for the area, a tornado emergency. The twister tearing through the small town, violently tossing cars and trucks like toys.
The semi been overturned, severe injuries right here.
And damaging dozens of homes and businesses. Powerful winds causing destruction in multiple states. Kentucky's governor issuing this urgent warning.
The system coming at us is as bad of a forecast as I've seen as governor, and that's saying something.
In Missouri, a tornado ripping roofs off of houses. In central Indiana, winds knocked trees into power lines and buildings and caused a roof of this warehouse to collapse, trapping a woman inside.
We also call in a few rotators to help lift that heavy debris off of her.
And possible twisters coming to Tennessee. Guests sheltering in the basement of a Nashville hotel. And those twisters are wreaking havoc amid what the National Weather Service termed a once-in-a-generation flooding event, with millions under flood watches today. Back in Arkansas, the governor declaring a state of emergency as residents wake up to see the destruction firsthand.
Now that it's daylight, they're starting to see all of that destruction, and it's just, it's terrible what happened out there.
Well, see, and the defined nature of some of those twisters there. It's it suddenly makes the pollen not seem so bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Around here. They got some problems there for sure. Elizabeth Gardner is out on the WRAL weather patio right now, and I know that pollen will be kicking up once again, Elizabeth, but the temperatures are the big story.
Yeah, that's our big story today. It's going to be really warm, well above normal, and tomorrow we see the first 90-degree day of the year. Before we move on, I want to touch on that. We're going to talk a lot more about that front. That's going to stall and continue to bring severe weather to the Midwest, not just this afternoon, but tomorrow afternoon and Saturday afternoon. And then it arrives here late Sunday, but not that strong, fortunately. Lots of people enjoying the gardens. Look at everybody there on the garden patio, the one that's down a little bit closer to the azaleas. The azaleas are beautiful. We always have so many visitors during this time of year. Now's the time to come. You probably have 2, maybe 3 weeks. We have a lot of different varieties of azaleas, and they all bloom at a little bit of different times. So it's kind of staggered as they bloom, and it's beautiful back there. Lots and lots of color behind me. 80 degrees right now. We'll likely hit 86 for the official high in the triangle. Our dew point 65, and I'm sure if you've been outside today, you've noticed it. It definitely feels humid. It does not feel like August 1st, but still, you kind of notice the difference as we start to see that humidity ramping up a little bit. It's 80 in Durham and Raleigh, 81 in Fayetteville, 79 in Rocky Mount and Goldsboro. It's 77 degrees right now in South Hill. Temperatures a little closer to the triangle. We have 78 in Holly Springs, 79 in Cary, 79 in Garner, and 76 degrees in Chapel Hill. So feeling really, really pleasant, but a lot warmer than it was this time yesterday, anywhere from 6 to 10 to 19 to 20 degrees warmer than we were here at noon yesterday. So that's a big difference. How about outdoor dining today? Not bad at all, actually. Right now it's a little bit breezy. It feels comfortable with temperatures in the low 70s. Now this afternoon we could climb into the mid 80s, but by the evening we're ramping it back down. If you're going to be eating outside around 7 or 8, temperature will be close to 80 degrees. So it should feel pretty nice out there. It is breezy. Right now we're seeing winds gusting up to 30 miles per hour in Rocky Mount and close to that in Durham and Raleigh, 28 in Fayetteville and 21 in Roxborough. And our wind is coming out of the south, and that south wind is pushing this very warm air into our region. Of course, as Jeff and Michelle said, there is pollen, but I feel like the pollen was a little bit worse maybe 4 or 5 days ago. There there's still plenty of it. It is still high, don't get me wrong, but I'm not seeing like clouds of it blowing by like we did at the end of last week. But expect it to remain high through the weekend and really for the next couple of weeks. There's been so much pollen that Heather Brackey sent us this photo from Durham of her pond and how the wind has blown the pollen and just kind of made a big pile of it there at the end of the pond. You guys have sent us some great pollen photos. Go to WRAL.com/report it. We definitely love to see them. Tomorrow could be the first 90-degree day of the year, and it stays hot for Saturday and Sunday as well. It stays muggy too. We're going to keep it in the 60s, which technically is tolerable, but it will still feel pretty sticky around here. Very warm temperatures shown there in the reds and oranges, but it won't last long. We're going to see by early next week cold temperatures, so cold that we could end up seeing some frost on Wednesday morning. Our temperatures for the next 8 to 14 days will be below average. So just prepare for it. We have another storm that comes through Sunday night and Monday. More on that coming up.
Wow. No jacket today, jacket next week.
Yeah.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Well, coming up on WRAL News at 4, suing St. Augustine's. The embattled university slapped with fresh lawsuits in recent weeks. What we've learned about the companies taking the school to court.
And at 5:30, protecting against potholes. It's pothole season. Driving and if you drive over one, it can leave you with a hefty repair bill. Just ahead, 5 on your sides, Keely Arthur shares what to do when you encounter one on the road and how to get it repaired. Well, still ahead this noon, closing loopholes. Temu and Shein offered American shoppers huge deals on goods, but that's coming to an end. Why President Trump targeted ultra-low cost items.
Plus, reducing human error. A new system could speed up NFL games where a network of cameras is being installed in time for the next season.
More than 150 million people who use the Zelle app are going to need to find a new way to send money to others. That Zelle app no longer works. Doesn't mean Zelle is gone, though. You can still use it through your bank's mobile app or website. In December, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau sued the company and 3 of the largest banks for failing to protect customers from fraud on that network. The lawsuit has since been dropped. The tariff loophole that's boosted online retailers Temu and Shein is ending May 2nd. The so-called de minimis exemption allows smaller packages worth under $800 to be shipped from China duty-free. The exemption helped Shein and Temu explode. That's because they offered huge discounts on products for people willing to wait a week or longer for delivery. President Trump claims the duty-free exports from China played a significant role in the synthetic opioid crisis in the U.S.
Amazon has submitted a bid to the White House to buy TikTok. It comes just days before Saturday's deadline for TikTok's owner ByteDance to divest itself of the app's U.S. operations. Mobile technology company AppLovin has also made a bid for TikTok. If there is no deal to buy TikTok before the April 5th deadline, the app again faces a potential shutdown of its U.S. operations. And Fox QVC announces an agreement with TikTok for 24/7 live shopping streams. QVC is turning to TikTok to try and revitalize its shopping business. QVC has launched the first nonstop live shopping stream on the video platform, and the deal includes original content from both QVC and HSN that's created just for TikTok. QVC hopes the new partnership for live shopping on social media will help it broaden its audience.
CVS Pharmacy is fighting back against the opioid lawsuit filed by the Department of Justice. The DOJ accused CVS of violating the Controlled Substances Act by purposely filling invalid prescriptions. Lawyers for the chain say prosecutors never provided key facts, including the identities of the doctors who prescribed medication. Prosecutors have until June 4th to file a response to the motion.
Dreamville returns to Dick's. It's the 5th and final year when we expect to learn more about the sold-out event.
And the impact at home. Global leaders are plotting their next moves following historic tariffs. What the growing trade war means to you. And here are your winning NC Education lottery numbers on your screen. We'll be right back.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your #1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
And at this hour, we are watching Wall Street as news of tariffs takes effect here. You can see the Dow Jones down about 1,100 points at this hour. The S&P down 191 points. Economists say that we are on track to have one of the worst days since September of 2022.
Little tiny recovery of a couple hundred points since the top of the hour. We are hearing from North Carolina lawmakers about President Trump's new round of tariffs. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey shares how these reactions are going right along party lines.
As those auto tariffs went into effect at midnight, we're now hearing from North Carolina lawmakers. Democratic Congressman Don Davis says North Carolinians should not bear the burden of tariffs. He says tariffs impact farmers, families, and small businesses by increasing costs for essential industries and job creators. Republican Congressman Addison McDowell, whose district includes part of the triad, is showing support for the tariffs. He posted this message to X. My district was hit hard over the years by unfair trade deals. Finally, we have a president who wants to put the American worker first. We checked in with NC State economist Mike Walden about the effect of these tariffs.
Theoretically, yes, over time, we could see more jobs in the U.S. We could see more things manufactured in the U.S. But it's likely, if we do get there, it's likely going to be years. We're not talking about weeks or months. We're talking about years. So in that interim time, a lot of people will be facing much higher prices.
A 10% tariff on all U.S. imports goes into effect Saturday. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
Governor Josh Stein also posted reaction to the tariffs on social media, saying, quote, agriculture is the backbone of our economy. A trade war closes markets to North Carolina farmers. I'm focused on lowering costs for North Carolina families. These tariffs don't do that.
Setup for the final Dreamville is underway in Dix Park. 2025 is the last year for the major music festival. WRAL's Monica Casey is in downtown Raleigh, where the city of Raleigh organizers will be speaking. Monica.
Yeah, Michelle, we're going to hear from the city and those organizers in just a little bit, but take a look at the excitement here behind me. This line outside the pop-up shop has been here since before it opened at noon, with Dreamville fans ready to get inside and get some merch. Lil Wayne, 21 Savage, and J. Cole are headlining Dreamville this year. It's a major moneymaker for hotel and hospitality industries. Past festivals have grown year over year, with the economic impact of about $7 million in 2022, ballooning to over $145 million in 2023. Last year, more than 100,000 people from over 20 countries attended this event. That loss of economic impact will be a hit for the city, but organizers with Visit Raleigh say they plan to create a new music festival to replace Dreamville. Raleigh Mayor Janet Cowell telling WRAL last week the city is in talks with Live Nation to hold a similar event at Dix Park. The press conference that's coming up here today starts at 2 o'clock. We may learn more about what future years hold. We will be carrying that live over on our website. Live in Raleigh, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
And happening now in the WRAL Live Center, Go Raleigh, wanting to make it a lot easier for concert goers to get to and from Dreamville. Here's what the Go Raleigh is offering. High-frequency routes from downtown Raleigh to Dreamville all weekend long. That shuttle will take riders every 15 minutes from downtown Raleigh to Dix Park. Go Raleigh says this weekend-long shuttle could cost about $250 a day. You'll need to download the UMO app and enter your payment method to get access to the shuttle and other mass transit options for this weekend.
New Raleigh Police Chief Rico Boyce is sharing his plans to keep the community safe. Boyce was officially sworn in during a ceremony last night at Southeast Raleigh Magnet High School. He says his priorities for the department include employee development and wellness, community engagement, crime reduction strategies, operational efficiency, and accountability and leadership.
In 25 years, I want this department to be well over 1,000 officers. I want us to be able to use technology to engage our community in a positive way. I want us to have ongoing conversations where the community understands what we do as police officers.
Boyce says his goal of expanding RPD's relationship with the community has already begun with the return of the popular Cops on the Block program.
A years-long journey of letters written, miles driven, and dollars spent finally culminated in DNA confirmation that a Moore County man was killed at Pearl Harbor. Today, Neil Fry is getting the remembrance he deserves. Fry enlisted in the Navy in 1940. He was killed at just 20 years old aboard the USS West Virginia, but his remains weren't identified until last fall. WRAL recently sat down with his sister and niece, who were relieved to learn of the news.
You know, just giving respect for, you know, what he did. He gave his life for, you know, for us. We don't know where we would have been had this, you know, not happened.
Fry was buried with his full military honors at Sandhills State Veterans Cemetery in Spring Lake this morning.
April is Autism Awareness Month, and just ahead, how you can support those diagnosed.
And a former UNC basketball player giving pups a taste of the good life. How he's giving dogs in the Triangle an adventure they will be begging to go on again and again. And we'd love to connect with you online. Follow WRAL on Facebook to join the conversation.
Big change coming to the National Football League next season. Technology will now determine whether teams have made a first down. The Hawkeye system, it's called. It consists of 6 8K cameras placed around every stadium, which will track the position of the ball. It's being installed in every NFL stadium, as well as those international stadiums that host NFL games. Hawkeye takes about 30 seconds to measure the distances for that first down, and that saves about 40 seconds compared to the chain gang traditionally coming out and making the measurement. And on the topic of the NFL, owners tabled a decision on the so-called, you know it, tush-push play. League officials were supposed to discuss it on Tuesday. It could be revisited when owners gather for their spring meeting. Over the past few years, we saw the Philadelphia Eagles use that brotherly shove there to get short yardage situations. The Green Bay Packers wrote the proposal to ban that play, gaining support from 16 NFL teams. NFL bylaws, though, require a minimum of 24 votes to approve a change.
Well, get ready to smile. This is probably the cutest story you'll see all day. Baden Jackson, a former UNC basketball player, recently launched a pup park shuttle, a Raleigh-based dog sitting service with transportation. This is the transportation. The best part, dogs are picked up in a miniature school bus, buckled up, and given a full day of adventure, visiting multiple dog parks and trails. And Jackson returns the dogs at the end of the day, exhausted and content.
They definitely make me smile. They definitely make me happy. What also brings me joy is just the excitement that we get from the parents as well. If I was a dog, I would be super, energetic and happy as well. So these guys definitely bring that energy.
Yeah, a bus full of puppies. Yeah, I would smile too. The Pup Park Shuttle can fit around 20 medium to large dogs. The service runs on weekdays by reservation. A day adventure starts at $52 for one dog, with specials offered for multiple. Look for this story on WRAL.com. Are you going to sign up, Harley?
They all get home exhausted, and that's the greatest thing.
So cute.
Happy dogs right there. Too fun. Well, take a hike. Seriously, physicians say if you are looking to boost your mood, just go for a walk. What a new study reveals about the benefits of taking more steps for your mental health.
And stamping out stereotypes. Developmental experts explain ways the public can help erase stigmas attached to people diagnosed with autism. April is Autism Awareness Month, and there are a number of ways that the public can learn how to support those diagnosed with the neurological and developmental disorder. Sean Langille explains ways to break damaging stereotypes.
April marks Autism Awareness Month, a time advocates say is meant to encourage acceptance of people on the autism spectrum and educate the public on how to support those diagnosed with a developmental disability. According to the latest CDC data, roughly 1 in 36 kids have been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, and more than 5.4 million adults in the U.S. are estimated to have it. But while people with autism may have trouble with social communication and different ways of learning, moving, and paying attention, Dr. Megan Carpenter of Clemson University says it's critical to break down several misconceptions.
We might overgeneralize that everyone with autism has these super academic abilities and no social interaction ability. We might meet someone who needs significant communication support, and we assume that all individuals with autism are not going to communicate their wants, needs, ideas, and feelings.
In school settings, Dr. Carpenter says students without autism can help their classmates navigate certain situations.
If we think about what happens in a typical cafeteria in any grade level, it's much more socially acceptable to have your friend prompt you to communicate or prompt you to ask for the correct lunch option that you want, as opposed to an adult or paraprofessional or teacher kind of following you around.
But while some people with autism require more assistance than others, Dr. Carpenter says,
we know with the right support, people with autism can be very successful in what they choose to do with their lives. So really, I think it's that big misconception that they're not the ultimate change agents in their life, and they should be.
That was Sean Langill reporting. North Carolina has a strong presence of applied behavior analysis therapy providers, which is a common and effective treatment approach for autism. Families can apply for financial assistance to help cover the cost of services and therapies.
Did you know something as simple as going for a walk can improve your mental health? Some people may have a hard time finding the motivation to get moving when they're depressed. And in those situations, psychologists recommend asking a friend or family member to go walk with you. They can serve as motivation as well as give you the chance to socialize.
Exercise has been linked to, different neurotransmitters in the brain that bring a sense of enjoyment. Also physiologically, it can change our body. So there's a lot of benefit to exercise that actually has a direct benefit on our mental health.
And if depression symptoms do not improve and continue to interfere with your life, consult a mental health professional. Nice walk today.
I was going to say.
Maybe earlier before it got so hot.
Before it got hot
mid-80s.
in, the beginning of April, which is just crazy. All right, let's get outside. Meteorologist Elizabeth Carter on the weather patio telling us about what we can expect for today and even warmer tomorrow.
Yes, we could hit 90 degrees for the first time this year tomorrow. And so I know you're thinking about summer, and you know what that means. Of course, it means the tropical season. And as we're moving through the spring, we'll see several different organizations issuing different forecasts about the tropical system. And typically first, we get Colorado State University. I've always thought it was very interesting that Colorado State University studies hurricanes like this, but they've been doing it for decades now, and so they're a fairly trusted source. We'll also have NC State put out their forecast soon, as well as the Hurricane Center. That'll all be coming up most likely in the next month or so. So first outlook from Colorado State, 17 named storms, and the average is 14. Last year we had 18 named storms. It was a very active season, so this is going to be potentially another fairly active season. 9 of those as hurricanes, and the average is 7, and then 4 major hurricanes, and the average is 3. We typically begin to see the hurricane season ramping up in August and then beginning to ramp back down in October. But we have seen tropical systems every month of the year, and it does, we do often have systems that develop even in May and June, and then there just may be a few, and then they get ramped up. It looks like it'll be another active season for some of the same reasons that we saw it last year. One of those being we have warmer than normal sea surface temperatures, and those warm sea surface temperatures are what those storms use for fuel. Let's take a look around the area. Cloudy skies still in Fayetteville, Raleigh, Apex, and Chapel Hill. Late this afternoon, we may end up with a few breaks in the clouds. We have a powerful cold front that is back across parts of Tennessee. This one has created a lot of severe storms. As a matter of fact, let's see if I can back this up. I wanted to show you how many. We've really been talking about a lot of severe weather out of the system. The wind damage is in the gray circle. 400 reports of wind damage in the last 24 hours, 29 reports of tornado damage, and 200 reports of hail damage. All of that, of course, to our west, mainly from the Ohio Valley back toward Texas. We'll be quiet here with just a chance of a sprinkle and maybe an isolated little peak of sunshine later on today. We're looking at, of course, our big weather maker that's back to the west, rolling through here Sunday night into early Monday. We're watching what our potential severe threat will end up being. But this system is going to be blocked and dump a lot of heavy rain and severe weather across the Midwest all the way through Saturday, thanks to it being right between a high pressure system and a low pressure system. The amount of rain that could fall in the Midwest could be as much as 7 to 10 inches. Now, once it moves through here Sunday night and Monday, we could end up seeing a couple of inches, and we definitely need that. We also are looking at more severe storms potentially this afternoon, especially right there along the northern Mississippi Valley. All right, Dreamville forecast, 89 Saturday, 87 on Sunday. We're looking at that potential potential for rain during the evening. It should be dry maybe until around sunset, and then we start to see the rain falling at 9 o'clock, about 1/4 inch, and then overnight and into the day on Monday, we could see maybe 2.5 inches of rain in some parts of our viewing area. It'll be much needed rain. But if you're headed to Dreamville, keep checking back with us as we watch the timeline for those showers and storms late Sunday.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Sticking with tradition, planners will not decide when it comes to an annual White House event, why some question the decision.
And here's a look at your winning Powerball numbers on your screen. We're right back with our top stories.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we are following today. A massive sell-off on Wall Street on the heels of Trump's sweeping tariffs. The markets dropped 4%, putting it on track for the worst day since September of 2022. We spoke with a certified financial planner in our area who says now is not the time to panic. He added that the combination of inflation, global political instability, and tariffs could discourage some people who otherwise might take advantage of the downturn to buy stocks at a discount.
An apex project more than a decade in the making. A new development called Viridia was announced back in 2009 in Apex. Now it's 16 years later, and the updates are still coming in for this $3 billion project. The 1,100-acre site hopes to be home to shops, restaurants, hotels, apartments, and office spaces, as well as residential living. Up to 8,000 single-family townhomes and multifamily units are slated to be there as well.
State officials are addressing confusion over the number of deaths attributed to Hurricane Helene in western North Carolina. There are now 107 Helene-related deaths in North Carolina. Nearly half of the storm-related fatalities occurred in Buncombe County.
Commuters call it a nightmare, the ongoing construction on the Beltline, I-440. There's no getting around it. Construction barrels close lanes along 440 from Cary to Raleigh. It's been a logistical nightmare for years for commuters there. That widening project was slated to be completed summer of 2023, but delays have dragged on, and viewers asked us, when will closed lanes and construction barrels be gone for good?
They're an eyesore, especially when I'm trying to merge and someone else is not letting me merge.
Well, WRAL got some answers for you. When will I-440 construction be done? And tonight at 6, we'll share them. See the newest timeline for crews to complete it and make your commute easier and safer.
The annual White House tradition of rolling Easter eggs across the South Lawn will proceed this year with real eggs. The Easter egg roll will feature 30,000 real eggs for guests to decorate and use in games. The American Egg Board has provided the eggs for the event for years, relying on donations from farmers across the country. Board members discussed the optics of providing tens of thousands of eggs for the event, given the burden egg farmers have faced, but decided to supply the event as usual.
Pet of the day time for the SPCA of Wake County. Arthur, 8 years old, weighs 37 pounds. His previous owner sadly passed away. Arthur found himself in the shelter. He is playful and happy. History with cats and other dogs is unknown right now. And if you want more information about Arthur, you can visit spcawake.org.
Sweet. All right, well, St. Augustine's sued the financially embattled university, slapped with fresh lawsuits in recent weeks. Coming up at 4, what we've learned about the companies taking the school to court.
NBC News Daily is up next. Have a great day.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.